Alright, so today what we're going to work on is how to draw a face for your fashion figures. The tools that you're going to need is your faces pamphlet. If you're taking my class, you'll have this pamphlet, as well as your faces homework. So this is a worksheet for practicing eyes, noses, and mouths. Also inside of this worksheet, there's a blank face, which we'll start with today's demo, and then there's another one at the end so you can test yourself to see how well you can draw now. The other handout that you're going to want is this one, where we're talking about the faces and how we come up with all of the different measurements and specs for the faces. Basically what I've done is I've taken two different photos of two different models. So for instance, this girl's Northern European, this girl's Brazilian. And the reason why these faces are chosen for modeling, for being on magazines, for doing makeup and all of that, is because the faces are mathematically almost perfect. This is the thing that makes someone attractive, is your brain sees the perfect triangle, as well as the even spacing for the eyes, the distance of the nose, the width of the mouth in comparison to the face itself. So what we're going to do in this class is we're going to learn the formulas that are making these faces attractive, and also the formulas we're going to use is a way that you can draw just a basic generic face. So it's not anybody in particular. It's not like you're trying to draw a famous person. It's not like you're trying to draw a specific ethnicity. All we're trying to accomplish for first semester is to have a basic face, and then eventually this is going to be on your croquis, and eventually the most important thing about your drawings is the clothes. Since we're all studying fashion design, we want the faces to be very simple, elegant, and they're out of the way, and then you really focus on the clothes itself. So what I've done is I've taken these two faces and scanned them into the computer. And then inside of Photoshop, I broke them down to 50% each, put the two layers on top of each other, moved them to where I was matching up the eyes, nose, and mouth. So here you can see this picture on the bottom is a combination of these two faces stacked together. So once we've overlapped and combined these two different faces, we're trying to now just kind of break it down to what is the formulas that are making this face look like just a normal attractive face. So on the next page here, what I've done is I've imported the Photoshop images into Illustrator, and then I have a layer on top, and what I'm doing here is I'm drawing inside Illustrator to show what is the general jawline between the two girls, what is the general set of lips, nose, and eyes and eyebrows between the two girls, as well as their placements here on a page. Something that's very obvious is the nose is in the center, and your face is a mirror. So this eye is the mirror opposite of that eye. This side of the nose is the mirror opposite of that side, and same thing for the lips, ears, as well as her chin and jawline. Another thing that's interesting to note is up in this area would be her hairline. So you have her forehead, her hairline, and then you still have what would be her skull. So if she shaved her head, this would be the top of her skull, and then her hair still goes above and beyond that. Now if we go from the top of the skull down to the chin, we can start to break these up horizontally into specific measurements. So here what I've done is I've taken away the two faces from Photoshop, and all we're left with now is the Illustrator lines. And I've divided it up. So you see these grid patterns on here. So let's go a little bit further in depth on this. So basically from the top of her skull to the bottom of her chin, halfway between them is your eye level. And then when you go from the eye level to the bottom of the chin, halfway between that is just below the bottom of your nose. So if you found that halfway point, you would go up a little bit and boom, there's the tip of your nose. And then again, from this halfway point between the chin and the bottom of the nose, halfway again is going to be the bottom of her bottom lip. And then between the tip of her nose and the bottom of the lip, halfway between those is the center of her mouth. Moving upwards, you can see from the eye level, halfway back to the skull, this would be the middle of the forehead. And then from the middle of the forehead, again, halfway to the skull, this would be that hairline. So if you recall, this is where the hair starts growing out of your forehead. So again, that would be halfway from the skull to the forehead, boom, there's your hairline. Going vertically as well, you'll notice that there's the two eyes and exactly one eye in between the two eyes. And then off to the side, there's half of an eye here and half of an eye there. If you take the same eye width, the nose is a little bit smaller than one eye width. And then if you can see, there is a triangle. So going from the outside corner of her eye down to the chin, outside corner of this eye down to the chin is a triangle, and that shows you how wide the mouth is. Now obviously what we're doing here is we're breaking this down to just a very simple mathematical formula that's easy to memorize. Nobody's face actually meets these exact proportions, and that's why everybody looks different. If you were going to start drawing actual people's portraits, you would need to first understand this and then start breaking the rules so you can make it look like the Brazilian girl or make it look like the Northern European girl. So for us, if we follow these basic rules, each time you draw a face for your croquis, it's just going to be this basic generic face. And that's the whole idea of what we're trying to achieve here. Towards the end, you'll notice you can change up the hairstyles on your girls, and you'll see the exact same face has different looks to it. So you could have a prom look, you could have the long, sleek hair look, short, cute hair here and here, and you'll have different girls with just a basic, simple face. Taking a look at the last page here, once you have established your eyes, nose, and mouth, and you come back and you work on the jawline, throw some ears and neck in here, as well as just a basic hair, you can see how it all comes together to be just a normal, natural human face. In order to get to this level, so for instance, your drawings will look something like this with doing these basic formulas that I'm going to teach you. In order to get to this level here, what we're going to start with is we're going to learn to draw this basic face, and we'll put in here some marks, some different plot marks, so then you'll know exactly where to draw your eyes, where to draw your nose, and where to draw your mouth by using some very simple formulas. And that's what you're going to learn now.